We are back again with the Eclectics Review. Today, I am sitting here. I'm very excited about this interview. This is actually, I'm very happy that we're actually doing this. My friend Mario Anzola,
How are you, buddy?
Anzolaloops,
The Loops.
the Loopster, the Loop Master,
The Loopster.
the Loopster himself. How are you? How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm
You're
good. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah. We were just listening to some of your early work.
Some of the band
Some
stuff.
of your
Yeah.
band stuff.
Yeah, I have the fortune to have my many years of experimenting with just funny bands in my past.
It's very cool.
Thank you.
Very, very cool.
We had
Even-
fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun making those silly records.
And a lot of your other music, it pulls and it's in different types of genres. You guys did a lot of different stuff. I feel like that's something that's stuck with you a little bit. Do you feel that as well with your work of grabbing and playing in different styles and
Different genres.
genres? Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel comfortable in one genre because I'm either projecting myself for the next EP or a record, or I'm teaching myself the inner workings of a style, of a genre,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully bringing my own sauce into it.
Your own secret songs.
Not really secret. It's mostly roads and bass. It's not. Put phaser on some stuff. That really helps. But it is. Everybody has their own way of. It's not just volume, but their own way of writing and EQing and producing the songs. And I think, am I doing okay? I'm doing worse. Here we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a sweet spot.
Yeah. Everybody has their own style, and then I think I was lucky enough to play with those guys where they all came with various styles of music, and everybody brought something different to the table, so we were open to play punk and surf rock and try to come up with stupid ideas, and stayed with me. But I definitely have a lane that I've been doing for a while, which is Downtempo, and this, at least this new EP, I'm going for a little bit of faster tempo stuff, like 132. The first single was 132.
Wow.
132 BPM, kind of the UK beat style.
What has been the process? What has the process been like for writing this new stuff? You got to show it to me earlier, and I really liked it as well. And there's also the one that you've released already,
Yeah.
Cinco Beds.
Yeah.
So what was the writing process for that like?
Same as sitting here in the room where we're doing the interview. It's everything is hooked up to a looper, at least a section of the studio. So the keys and a synth, and from there, I can kind of create 16 bar, 8 bar loops wherever I want to stop. I can initiate an idea, or I can pursue it as quickly as possible. So I don't go immediately on Pro Tools and start a song.
Mm-hmm.
I will write, that looper has, the looping pedal has, sorry I'm doing it again, that looping pedal has 99 banks. I never fill it up, but I fill up a lot of stuff with ideas that don't really make it into a song.
Mm-hmm.
They're ideas, they're drafts, they're loops that either feed a new idea or a new pursuit, or they just stay and get deleted within months. So yeah, but that song, the first single is old. That single is, I probably wrote it a year ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have? I'm guessing you have a lot of banked stuff that you never released, or do you have a lot of stuff that you just never have put out?
I think you want to bring the most. I think you want to bring the stuff that you're most proud of to the forefront in anything, but you also like if your music only lives in your mind and it only lives in your laptop and it's not shared, it's the process of sharing it that really gives you the vulnerability to grow and the vulnerability to have your shit exposed, which is in any art form, in any creative endeavor, you're kind of having your shit exposed. You know, your lack of technique or your ability to have a certain facility to, you know, whatever it is, whatever discipline it is. So, I don't know. It's been, yeah. I kind of lost train of thought there. But I was thinking of, you know, I have a lot of banked stuff that I do want to put out. And I don't keep it because it's not ready. I just, maybe it just doesn't fit with what I've released before. Or it doesn't fit in that body of work. But I do want people to hear it because if you just leave it in your laptop, it's, I want to put out as much music as I can. Yeah. Ultimately. I almost lost it there for a second. But I went back and said, what did he ask me? Oh, he asked me, like, if I have, like, yeah, dude. If you ask anybody who produces music or writes music, there's tons of folders. And some of them will, you know, this is the eternal debate if you're a really renowned artist, if things should be released after your death. You know, the cases with J Dilla, Mac Miller, and many others, right, where they'll be like, we'll release a demo, a draft. Would they have wanted that? You know, there's a debate on that. Like, I would have wanted it, but then why did I even release it? I've been on both sides of the fence. I'd be like, let's say I pass, I die, and then all the music that I've put out, it's basically what I've put out. I never got to release anything else again. But then somehow, you know, somebody has access to my hard drive.
People would finish, like, your stuff for you.
I don't know, but I don't even know if a buddy of mine would go ahead and do that for me. That'd be sweet. I don't know. I've been on both sides of the fence where I'd be like, I would love for people to hear it, because it'd be like, I see where he was going with this direction, or I see where, I'm just taking this off, I'm not really using them. Yeah. But, yeah, I have a lot of shit that's backed up, but I delete it. Or like I put it in a hard drive and I don't hear it for years, and then I delete it because like I'm not doing anything with it. You know, I have stuff in Reason, which is like the second DAW that I started working with. That's on an older computer that I never really like. A folder called like Transfer to Pro Tools, as if, but like they're there.
They're there.
Yeah, they exist.
They're hanging out.
Yeah.
They're collecting dust.
Yeah.
What about your last album, Caracas? There's a lot of stuff about like Venezuela on there, which I found really interesting. I went through one of your interviews where you talk about like the impact of like being an immigrant and how it feels as like a creator. Can you talk about that album, that project, and I guess like being an immigrant artist?
Yeah. The album having having it named Caracas is both a sort of homage to where I'm from, and also an opportunity to, well, I just needed a name, to be honest, but it really, you know, one of the songs that I think made me think Caracas should be the name. It was called Camino Verdes. Camino Verdes is a nice, you know, soft ballad, if you will, and it's about, I've said this also, it's about the route you would take in Caracas where you encounter traffic. You take the alternative routes, which you would call Caminos Verdes, which roughly translates to the green paths. But in code, or I guess, you know, it's not code anymore because we're living in a different time, but then back then, you know, for us who partake in weed and weed consumption and smoking weed, to take Los Caminos Verdes would be to, you know, roll up and go drive and go for a smoke and drive. So the song is an homage to both how beautiful the scenery is wherever you're driving in Venezuela. At least in Caracas, it's very green. It's gorgeous. It's deep, you know, South American forest, and it's a lot of hills, but also kind of the innocence and the beauty of being a teenager, you know, or like my first year of uni where I had access to a vehicle and like You can smoke at your parents' house. Like my mom didn't know I smoked, and none of our parents knew, so it's still a very hush hush thing. But we found a way to still enjoy ourselves, and in these Caminos Verdes, it's kind of where a lot of the love for music became a little bit more intensified, because you're under the influence, and your windows are up and you're watching this beautiful scenery as you drove by with some of your closest friends as you're growing up, and you're high. That's it's your brain is really absorbing these details of the music in a more profound way, so it takes a lot of more meaning. At least Caracas, the immediate connection that I have for the name of the EP comes from the song Caminos Verdes. And then there's obviously Abrazos. It's just, cute. Whenever I thought about the songs being cute, like, what do I feel from it? Oh, this feels like a hug. And like, Venezuelans, we know about hugs. So we hug and kiss. And, I tried it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. But then again, I wouldn't call an EP, like, the pursuit of, like, the task of an immigrant. That's too much. Even
my
though
manifest destiny.
Yeah, exactly. My struggle. Jesus Christ, man. Like, it's not. Some people. I've been very fortunate that at least the opportunities I had as an immigrant here in Canada were thanks to my dad, were thanks to my mom, to the education I had back home, and I was able to have English. So it's not. I'm not going to tell a story, or even if I wrote lyrics about how hard it is to be an immigrant. I'm gonna give homage and feel proud about the fact that I come from somewhere, and I'm gonna put it all over my music, at least with the names, at least with the rhythms, at least with the influence of music.
Interesting. So, what themes are you going for with your new stuff that you're putting out?
With the new EP?
Yeah.
So the new EP is called Bodega. It's six songs as well. What I'm trying to do, at least with Bodega and what I did with Caracas, is present a little bit of a down-tempo face to my production and an up-tempo face. So 3 of the songs are up-tempo, at least, 4 on the floor and it's danceable stuff. Or, 3 are down-tempo, 3 are up-tempo. This one, kind of the same skeleton, 3 and 3. I'm taking a little bit more stuff from, I would say, Europe, rather than, like, there's always going to be Latin elements in the percussion of stuff that I'm adding, bongos and cabasa and guido, whatever I can throw in there that will add a texture rhythmically that is Latin, I'm going for it. But, not necessarily am I adding horns or brass or anything that would give you, or montunos on the piano, right? It's more like elements here and there. I think I'm pulling a little bit from the UK. And with the down-tempo stuff, at least the 3 down-tempo from this record, they were more visceral than the last ones. The last ones, I tried to touch on a feeling, touch on something that, like, abrazos, this is a cute feeling, and I named it, right? Dipped, I never found the meaning for that one, but that was a cute one too. And then Caminos Verdes, the story with the driving and the scenery. But yeah, more of a UK, I would say, in my ears, pull than anything.
What led you to wanting to make down tempo and like the style that you're playing in now?
I don't know. I mean, I think my introduction to instrumental music outside of jazz, funk, or rock that was just played by bands, like my introduction to electronic instrumental music that was made by people in studios, and back then, not laptops, but they could have been working with computers, was hard techno and acid techno, where we would go to raves as teenagers in Venezuela. And on the ride back, to kind of calm down from that energy, we would listen to Downtempo. And then from my buddy Chris, his brother, in a fucking folder full of CDs. And I can't remember all the names, but I remember finding artists like Kruder and Dorfmeister, I remember finding Morchiba, Sneaker Pimps. I remember finding, elements of really vibey shit. 0-7. Like, Air. Before, like, I knew Air from MT. Air was pretty big, but, like, it was, like, there was previous stuff from that record, Walkie Talkie. And the harder... Well, we would go to the raves, obviously, you're going as a kid to get that adrenaline and do a bunch of drugs. But I think it impacted me more because I was in a vulnerable state after the drugs and after the adrenaline at the rave, that the down-tempo music on the ride back was more meaningful because it helped, bring down all the tension that you're kind of building up in your body. Good tension, and you're just dancing throughout the night. And it helps you, I don't know, it kind of puts, like, a nice little cherry on top of that fun evening. Because on top of you dancing a bunch, the ride is very scenic, calming, and the air is cool. And early in the morning, your buddies are dropping you off at your house, and you're still high on a bunch of shit, but you're kind of more in a relaxed state of mind, and you're ready to go to bed. And I think that had a bigger impact on me. So a lot of bands in that territory, that folder CDs, became my bigger influences. And then I started diving on my own through. I mean, I don't think this was before MySpace that I started just digging into Limewire. Yeah, this is Limewire era of MP3s, downloading Aphex Twin and
hell yeah,
yeah, man, Aphex Twin and like early DJ Shadow and Preview 73 and I don't know how I landed on one folder that had a bunch of stuff, but it never organized records. It was always scattered MP3s that were really low quality, like the 128, but it was the best. I had never heard shit like that before. I knew drum and bass, I knew techno because I heard it at the parties, but the down tempo side of like, this is what instrumental beats, this is what trip hop is, this is what turntablism, this is what ambient is, came from the aftermath of partying. Am I allowed to smoke in your podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I thought I should ask. It's my house, but it's still your show. Great questions, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. They are great questions. Yeah.
I tried.
You're prepared.
We set this up like it was kind of quick, and like I've been just busy with like the other interviews and stuff. But like I tried to do my research.
It's good to talk to you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking an interest.
You did a lot of like promotions for parties and that sort of stuff. You did it for like 7 years.
Yeah.
What are like some of the biggest takeaways that you got from those experiences?
So I threw parties, here in the city for close to 7 years. I used to do a monthly, and I started doing 2 monthlies. The biggest lessons are, it was called Subtle Blend.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it right now. It doesn't mean I won't do it in the future. I'm just not doing it right now. I'm trying to just focus on my own project rather than the showcases of other people's projects. As much as it's a show that I'm putting on. I can't put myself on every show. That would be too much. That's a little selfish. But the biggest lessons I would say, or at least the takeaways, are that it's all about really putting on interesting music. People won't come to your party if you're playing crap. And when I say crap, I really mean like there's no such thing as shitty music. It's just, it's either impactful or not. And because we have access to everything at any moment, it's harder to impress people nowadays. In all cliques. In band cliques, in DJ cliques, in weird modular cliques. Like, you really need to bring your shit. Or you have to be very unique. Maybe you don't have to bring your shit and be hard. Maybe you just have to be so unique. And maybe that sound design, your look, your personality. Attention is such a commodity that just leaves in the live aspect, or at least in social media. So I wanted to find artists who were similar to me. We're making instrumental, down tempo, instrumental hip hop, fused with other stuff, with electronica. And then through uni, I met my buddy Nick Saraza, who hooked me up, and my buddy Wes, who started throwing the parties together, hooked me up with other people. From there, grew from, Josh Grant to a couple of people, Naeem to Mega. Then I met people at Moog, and then it became a thing. I was the party guy. So one of the biggest lessons would be it's about the music. Secondly, have every cable you can, because I'm going like more than like lessons that you could get inspired by. These are practical lessons as well. If you're really interested. I haven't looked at the camera a few times, but I'm gonna break the wall. Yeah. If you're interested in throwing parties, okay. So first thing is about the music. Promote the shows that you like. Promote the music that you like. Don't promote something you don't like. And then here come, in no order whatsoever, but here come other practical and then philosophical tips. So 2, have every cable possible. So if you have a guy who plays with a laptop, you should have a USB for his laptop. Mm-hmm. So a USB from his laptop to his interface, because that's probably where you're coming out of. Never come out of headphones. So somebody's bringing their laptop, never come out of the headphones. It's super dirty. It sounds horrible. Headphones is the least reliable. Well, a sound guy will tell you this, but I guess these are practical. Another lesson is just, be honest to your artists. Sometimes I couldn't pay people. And, it didn't make me feel bad. It just made me feel like, shit, like I had to rent these techniques and pay for cabs, and I wish I could pay you, but I'm not even breaking even.
Yeah.
But it was fun, so I met a lot of people. And so, okay, the other thing would be be honest to your artists. You're gonna have some artists that are not gonna work. I had some people that came through that were just not good fits. So be open to some people that might not be the final fit, and go with your gut. I would say those two. And have every cable you can.
Every fucking cable that you can.
There's outside.
That's true.
So outside of socialize and love the music you do. Realistically, have every cable you can. Have scout the venue before you get there. Add visuals. It really makes a difference. At least for the electronic shows, having visuals makes a big difference. Do more than just book the DJs. Talk to people. Thank them for being there. I think that's a big part of what Subtle Blend was a good party is. I felt like everybody that I looked around, if I was performing and I would look at the crowd, I was hosting and I would look out the crowd, and there was a lot of familiar faces that I could walk up and be like, thanks for coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so just be nice to your guests. Be good to your guests.
Who are your biggest inspirations?
In music? Shit, that's a long one, dude. I have a lot that come from the electronic side, so that they're great, but obviously I feel like everybody has those. So I'll tell you the ones that I have now that are the most impactful. So I like a lot of stuff that has keys right now. So I like obviously Kiefer out of Stone's Throw. Beautiful records, really jazz blended. He's kind of the definition of what we call now the study beats, but he's actually playing everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot of loops thrown together. It's kind of he's playing gorgeous arrangements as a composer over just great swinging beats, stuff with synth bass. So Kiefer, I like Salt, a project that's coming out of London. Gorgeous project, combination of soul, jazz, funk. Mysterious in its own fashion. I like jungle, as something that's kind of new, that's current. I like as an influence, I would say people that have heavy keys on their production. Kamal Williams, I like his production. Harvey Sutherland, and then the homies from here, my homie Danny, second son, who's a great friend, but also an inspiration because he takes on sound design and production in a very kind of progressive and evolving way. He always approaches it in a new, fresh way. And man, you gotta try to learn from people that are around you. Also from the people that you admire who are outside of your immediate circle.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Who is your ideal collab
For vocals or like
for anything?
shit, man. Like, I would love to work with vocals. I have so much, like, dude. I have so much that I would like to work with. In terms of, I think locally, I would like to work with somebody like maybe Mi Blue. She's a local vocalist from here. I would love to do some production for Daniela Andrade. She's out in Montreal. I think I'm kind of aiming for local because I know that it's an accessible kind of route. Obviously, I would love to have the opportunity to work with any of the great ones, but there's not an immediate person that I'm like, I need to write for you. You know, I want to be open that anybody can knock on my door, send me an email, and I can help them achieve their vision as a producer. Because ultimately, I'm writing these songs for me. I want to go play them. If I can tour them, we're releasing a 12-inch next year that we're gonna go promote. But I wanna be a part of other people's projects and have to help them achieve those visions with the tools that I've kind of like picked up throughout the years of, you know, playing keys a little bit, playing bass and drums, but also figuring out what people have in mind and what they have in their head, in their heart.
What do you like most about your work?
If I was an outsider listening to my songs, I'd say the thing that I like the most is the energy. Because I have, even in stuff that's a little bit darker, I guess a positive direction. I don't know. I mean, I'm not always writing happy songs.
No.
I don't know if that's what I'm trying to say, but yeah, maybe just the energy, because when I hear it, it puts me in an energy, right? Even if it's a darker, menacing, not necessarily, but maybe, I don't know, like, it's darker in the sense, like, it gives you the energy to get through some shit, right? Rather than, like, oh, this is putting me in a foul mood.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, the energy. The energy, the details. I like to put a little bit of ear candy here and there when I can.
And what is the least favorite thing about your work?
Oof. Lack of vocals. I need to have more vocals.
But you in general don't like vocals that much.
I love vocals, but when I think I have a moment where in my head I'm like, I know I could keep stacking ideas melodically in the song and could kind of create a harmony here, but then in my head I'm like, I know that the song would benefit more if the option of a vocal was there, even if it was used as an instrument. You know what I'm saying? The palette of the human voice, that as for the ear, it's very attractive. It's very, very attractive. We're drawn to it, even if it's not in the front of the mix. We're very drawn to it, and I don't think I have a defensive kind of attitude towards it. I've never added it too much. I do. Like, for example, Caracas has a couple of vocals that were either friends of mine that I had like weird videos of them in my phone, like funny videos of them, and that's why they sound, you know, crappy, because they're just phone videos.
Yeah.
And in this one, I did use from, you know, different sources of like sample packs and shit like that. Like, I found like, oh, I like what this little thing did. Threw it in the 404, cut it up together, and wrote a little phrase with the cut up vocal. But yeah, I think it's the lack of vocals, because I know that I should add them more. As like, I should do that. Yeah. So it feels like a task, but I know it ends up servicing the song. You know?
Do you ever get artistic block?
Yeah, all the time, man.
All the time.
Like, if anybody tells you that they don't, it's a bunch of bullshit. Because there is the group of people, or there is the definition of, you know, the feeling inspiration as something that visits you, right? As in, like, the spirit that invokes. I don't buy it. I have felt those moments, but it means I've already been sitting there for 35 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm cooking dinner or, taking a shower and it's like, oh my god, this melody popped in my head. It's like, that shit doesn't happen like that. At least not in my brain. I don't go around whistling like Mary Poppins. I go, maybe I don't know, if I'm bored, I'll beatbox some shit walking, but it's not like, I can't wait to get home to put this down. Like, it works more like I wake up, and I happen to be fortunate enough not to have to work right now, but I wake up at my own pace. I warm up my fingers. I do exercises just as scales. I work on some chords. I do 2-5-1s to kind of get working up and down the keys. And then if, this cool little Instagram video, I like the drum pattern of that, and I'll sample that. And I'll recreate a drum pattern based on that. I'll use it as inspiration. I'll draw around it. And then write some keys to it. I'll start with the bass. But it's a thing like, I have to sit here, in front, the camera can't see it, but in front there's a bunch of gear, for a minute. It's rare that I'll have like an immediate high moment right there because, I'm not feeling incredibly motivated and inspired right now. But I think it's a thing of discipline. It's not a thing of, for me, everybody has their own way of operating, and they should go with that. Not listen to me. But at least for me, it's like, I need to be here as much as possible. And there's days I don't want to do it, and I don't do it, that's fine. You don't force yourself. But you should. Maybe. Maybe for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Play a little bit. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the current music industry here in the city? That's it's very broad to just say the music industry.
Yeah, what do you mean? Like,
do you find that it's more competitive or more collaborative now than it's been in the past?
Mm-hmm.
How does it compare to, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago?
The thing is, as an event promoter, I was able to see how venues work and what kind of people, because there were people who were close to the artist, and then we started getting a fan base purely based on the work. It was like, oh, I love what these guys play, or I love the energy what you guys are doing. So I can answer at least in the promoter perspective. A lot of venues have closed outside of COVID, but there's fewer and fewer spaces where people who are not going just to dance top 40s can throw electronic shows, like electronic music shows. So the DJ is still king in that scene. The live electronic, or at least the production based showcase, is taking off, and I hope more people run with it. So that's on at least the promoter perspective. On the producer and being an artist who's releasing music here on a label, I think I'm still like a young chicken. I already call that like a spring chicken.
Yeah.
So this is my second release with Urban. I'm very happy to be a part of their label. They've been around for 20 odd years, so they know what they're doing, and I trust their judgment. But I'm still very young. For being an artist of my age, I think I'm pretty young in the scene. People know me more as a promoter, sadly, than a producer. But I think people who know me as a producer, hopefully they're getting more of an impact than me as a promoter. As much as I did throw the shows for 5-7 years. What I really want to do is produce music.
Well, I think I've only known you as a producer, or at least in my head, I've only ever known you as like a producer.
Okay, cool.
And it's very good.
Thanks, man.
It's great stuff.
I appreciate it.
What do you have planned for the future? I know that like you have new stuff that's always coming out, but like what's down the line for you, or what do you want to do?
What's in the future? Okay, beautiful. So we have a new single. I don't know what this is immediately coming out. When it comes out, it's going to be a new single called Pineapples, and then there's a new single after that coming out in January. The whole thing, it's going to be available on vinyl, and there's a little bit of a surprise after that, but I'm not revealing it just yet. So there's going to be vinyl. I'm looking forward to playing some dates next year. So, you know, if you're watching this and you're a promoter, hit me up on social. And yeah, man, just I have a little bit of a project with a vocalist here in the city that I'm excited about. I'm working with, and I'll continue to write as things come up, but I'm looking forward just to play shows and get on the road.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I think that about does it. Thank you so much for doing this. This was a very fun conversation.
Thanks for having me, man. That was great.
All right. And with that, we're done.